And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to the latest episode of Dissonant.
Bonsoir.
It's actually episode 207.
Hell yeah.
Trix, Monty Jack.
I don't know where he is right now. He's here somewhere.
Manny is here next to me. He was purring from just a moment ago, but now he's more alert and awake.
Here's the boy. Come here, boy. I got him in my arms.
Hi, Monty.
You don't have a cat. How's the new day?
Nah. Well, it's just started storming for the first time ever since we've moved in. So closed all the windows. It is fucking windy outside. So apologies for the next probably 15 minutes at most. I assume it looks like it's a fast moving storm. If we hear a lot of thunder and just high winds knocking things down.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. All right.
I think the last lightning or thunder, whatever the fucking term is, managed to pick up through my mic, so it was pretty close.
I think that was more your burping instead of the thunder, but sure.
That was a bit of good. Who knows? But regardless, Dominic, what are we covering this week?
Yeah. Trix, you picked Ween's Quebec.
I did.
Ritz, you picked Line Equations, A Funeral in Purgatory, and Hockey Dad's New Lip. And
Yep.
I picked Björk's Homogenic, and my coat hanger is necklace by Lobsterfight.
We had a strong week this week.
We did.
Yeah, there was I guess a lot to go through. I never really pick what we go through first,
Do it.
so
Do
I
it.
guess we'll just start off with Björk.
All right. Homogenic. I was going to pick a different album at first, probably Vespertine, because that is a song that relates back to the Callous Dow Boys. But then, in the last few weeks, I heard Pluto again on a TikTok, and I was reminded how good Pluto is. I'm like, fuck, we need to talk about this album. So I picked Homogenic instead.
The
Hell yeah.
The crazy thing is that this is on the weaker end of the rankings for me this week, and this is still an album that would win a lot of other weeks.
Yeah.
It's a good week then.
Yeah, I genuinely think this is one of the best weeks we've had in a while. I mean, I put this at this one because I guess I couldn't really process this album enough with the listens that I gave it. That's one of those. It's on the fault of me, but still, regardless on this is a really easy listen, despite it not being easy listening.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting pop album.
Yes. Worth mentioning, it is the follow-up to the last one we've covered by Björk, Post.
Yeah, Post. Yep.
This is the one that happened when she was being stalked and the stalker tried to kill her.
Check out that Smiling Friends episode.
Yeah. So there's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings going on. A lot of new paths being charted as a result of kind of dealing with those feelings. This is also the era of you're punching paparazzi and all that. So she's at probably one of her peaks.
Yeah, and I guess we actually probably shouldn't just skip over the whole stalker thing, because this is, I guess, a moment in time which it's not forgotten, but it also is quite easy for a lot of people to have just not known about it.
Yeah.
This happened before I was born, so for me, this isn't something that I experienced as it was happening or that knowledge. This is all going from stories that you read online. But the actual case of the stalker is not just a simple. There was this one guy that was really obsessed with her, or anything like that, and that's the end of the story. It got to some really fucked levels to the point. The ending of the story, to skip right to it, is basically he discovered that Björk had a boyfriend, sorry, and he was so distraught by this that he committed suicide after sending a bomb in the mail that was attempted to get to Björk. It never got to her.
But also he did it on camera.
Yeah. This was insane. And this is something that Björk should never have had to dealt with, let alone even known about.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was a big media thing, and she had to deal with it, which is fuck. That will fuck up your mental. That was more than just a death threat. That was a genuine attempt on her life.
The guy was in America, she was in Europe, so they managed to intercept the package in time.
Yeah.
Good.
And I personally think if I was in Björk's situation, I would have probably punched a paparazzo as well.
That didn't happen. Was it around the same time? Let's see. They were months
No,
apart.
but
that one happened first. But yeah,
it doesn't matter which one happened first. I still would have. Yeah, I still would have punched the paparazzo.
Yeah.
You can just punch paparazzo. It's free game. They're already harassing you.
It's the greatest. Like, it's the only time that I've ever been on the side of the Swifts was hearing about when they were in Sydney. Apparently, they were near my old place. I think I've told this story. And there was the punch on that happened with her father at like 2 a.m. outside of Ferry Wharf, and we were all like, "Oh, what happened?" And we found out it was a paparazzo. And I'm like, "Oh, well, shit! Get your popcorn on. Fight's on." You don't have to feel bad about either side. Yeah, you get to just watch a fight.
Right.
Somebody start a fight or something. But yeah, that is not like something to just kind of like, I guess,
it's not
really skip over, because it is one of the wildest stories. I guess just in music.
This was the same time roughly as like Selena, right? So a lot of kind of big shit was happening with like music pop stars and people that were, I don't know, in the scene. So like stuff like this, stuff like, you know, Selena getting killed are not legendary 90s stories, but important kind of memories to take forward of like, hey, there are still people making this art. And this art can be influenced by those things, and is ultimately, you know, these people are more important.
But the other thing to also take away from all this, just in the kind of context that we're going through, is because nowadays when talking about Björk, it more feels like talking about a but also it feels like talking about a more underground artist, as Björk's popularity, whilst not fading into obscurity or anything like that, is nowhere near what her peak popularity was.
No, she's like mainstream weird, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
she's like accepted, but she's also the weird kooky pop star. I think, you know, there's so many clips of her talking about, you know, circuits being like little cities and whatnot.
That fucking TV.
Yeah, that TV one's great. The comparison that I'm going to do just for nowadays, and it's not completely accurate, because I'm going to compare it to like Olivia Rodrigo, in the sense of it's a pop star that's gotten success in more alternative scenes, or making more alternative to the to what's going on, I guess, in more pop. The difference is that I think Olivia Rodrigo, if we actually did compare popularity and success, I think Olivia is higher. Plus, there's obviously other kind of reasons for that success to her, and hell, you could probably swap that with another artist like a Billie Eilish or something like that, and the point still kind of stands.
The comparison I was trying to make here was, in a way, Lobsterfight kind of feels like the equivalent in like the fifth wave scene, kind of the
avant-garde.
Avant-garde, everyone knows them, everyone works with them, but they kind of chart their own path.
Yeah.
I think that's the context going into Homogenic. Dominic, please take the words off me. Please speak more.
Yeah, no.
Because I've got less to say now from here.
Oh god, I fucking discovered this album in college, and Hunter struck me, of course. The opening is so good. Just kind of immediately captivating with kind of her smooth, more hush vocals and some of the more electronic pieces, and then it kind of weaves through different, some are more orchestral, some are a little more, I don't know, we call it like elaborate. Bachelorette's a really good example of a Bond number, of course. going back to our playlist from last year. It captures a good number of emotions, and and for me, it kind of ramps up into that Pluto kind of placement at number 9 near the end, and then it kind of flattens back out into like a nice calm ending. But God, fucking songs like Pluto are so good, and the placement of them works so well. It's an album all about placement.
To disappoint, I can't really go for like specific songs by titles. It's just not how I've been able to listen to music for, unfortunately, a while. Hopefully that's something I can fix up in the next couple of weeks, New Year's resolution, whatever you can call it. But as an album, I don't think that actually matters, because I think this has a really good flow as an album.
It's a good flow, and it just feels like it was meant to be this way.
I can see that.
Like, there's many reasons why I said like this is like a really easy to listen to album.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of part of it. Despite like this avant-garde nature of what's going on in the I guess the kind of crafting of every track, it is still quite accessible. Like, there's a really good balance between experimental and listenable here.
Like the reason I'm calling Pluto out so much is because it's essentially an industrial track that's kind of really intense on the electronics. Her voice is distorted, sounds like it's coming through like a PA system or something throughout the whole thing. And she's just building tension with her like vocal riffs, kind of getting higher and higher and higher until eventually the song explodes, and it kind of feels like a child of like 9 Inch Nails, but also like the club scene. And I desperately want someone to put it into a DJ set.
There is, like, because of like the electronic sound that's going on with the production in here, there is actually kind of a bit of a rave nature to some of the instrumentation as well, especially like on Pluto.
And that you would not think that would work so well against something like Bachelorette, which again I kind of said has that more sensual Bond nature of the lush instruments and strings, and
it's got that kind of slow building nature to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're paced enough as far apart as they can be, pretty much. Not literally, but number 4 versus number 9, that the songs in between kind of lead you there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all...
Trix.
Go ahead, Trix.
Dominic's still going, yeah. So let's say Trix had anything to say. She's been a little quiet, don't you think?
It's due to it being like a really hectic week for me. One of our cooks was in jail, so I had to pick up a lot of extra shifts.
Always a great time.
I was going to say, how does the cook going to jail relate to the Björk stalker?
It doesn't relate to the Björk stalker, but it relates to how I listened to this album, which was in the kitchen. And so like it's hard for me to like pinpoint exact songs on this one. But I can tell you guys it like rides the line of kitchen music. Like, this is like certain company. You can't just put this on for anyone.
Sure.
So it's on the line, but leaning more towards is kitchen than isn't, is what I'm getting. That if it's like okay. I'm getting a picture in my head of what you mean by that, and there are parts of it that go, I see, and there are other parts that go, I don't see.
It's the thing of like, if the wrong person walks in, you're like, ah, shit.
Yeah, no, I get.
Like, you keep in mind this is a shared experience. Like, this is playing on a Bluetooth speaker, so like everybody has to agree on the music.
Right.
So you continue. Sorry.
And so like not everybody will like fully appreciate this.
So you're just in the kitchen and you're all cooking, and someone's like, "All right, I'll put on the aux cord," and you just go, "Yeah, fuck yeah, here's Björk."
Yeah,
and
like you have to be like it has to be like a slower day. You have to be doing a project. You have to be like, hey, you want to just listen to something fun, like something you haven't heard before. And 9 times out of 10, depending on who I'm with, they'll say, yeah, sure, whatever. And like it's for that kind of kitchen environment, less so like a Rush
Interesting. Okay.
I'm shouting, I just realized.
It doesn't come across that you're shouting.
I'm projecting very loudly. I am pretty stoned, I'm not gonna lie.
That's perfectly fine. This is the
Oh,
first album that Björk did with her producer Mark Bell. That they worked together through many of her albums after this. So kind of charting the Björk sound, as it were. Here's the question I guess I have is like obviously we talk about her kind of quirky reputation, and I feel like there was kind of an era of the online sphere where it was like, oh, you should listen and watch our music videos. They're all so strange and weird. Do you think we've kind of hit the weird part yet, or is this still relatively straightforward, if not just kind of like avant-garde?
well, to a sense of when it comes out and thinking what's popular around the 90s, I don't even think it holds the candle to that, because 90s were just a weird time for what was popular. Because, like, obviously you did see pop kind of dominated by, like, some pretty standard music, usually by the boy bands or worse, the child actors. But also in the 90s, and it's the good old Nirvana effect, as it's called, is that when that broke out and became one of the biggest acts in the world, every label was racing to look to see if they could replicate that for themselves.
Right.
Which is why you got a lot of weird one-hit wonders in the 90s.
Why you get acts like Gordon.
Yeah. I mean, I always remember Butthole Surfers, out of any band name in the world, had a hit.
Yeah.
And it was a huge one.
And like this was the era, like the biggest era of like alternative music, I guess, as like a mainstream genre, because this is the same year as like OK Computer.
Well, to say that Björk broke out because of Nirvana, I think it would be an incorrect statement to say. But she definitely broke out around the time, not around the time of Nirvana, but around the time all these other acts were getting these wonders and stuff like that. Like, I'd say she broke out about 92, 93, if my...
Yeah, that would be around the time of her first solo album by herself, after time in a band. So,
there was just... It was a time for stuff that was weirder than others to break out. And yeah, as you just said, compare this to OK Computer, and I think some of the production on this is actually incredibly comparable to OK Computer.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those really easy things to do, is compare something to Radiohead, because that is considered by a lot of people to be the best album of all time. I don't personally agree, but it is usually in a consensus or in a larger a larger voting sphere when it goes to album of all time. That is usually in top 3. I mean, so when you do a comparison to OK Computer, it can usually be a bit of a cheap cop out, but in this case, I think it's actually kind of warranted.
Yeah, and it's worth noting too that Tom York has covered Unravel on this album and has stated that it's one of his favorite songs all time.
Wow.
So him bending the knee to her, at the very least, makes it probably more of a direct connection that's worth the comparison too.
Definitely.
Which cat's meowing in the background, by the way?
That's Manny.
Hi, Manny.
Monty is pretty quiet, honestly.
Yeah, even if this album isn't in the top half of me this week, it is still a really good album. I'm happy to go with favorites, least favorites, if you guys are.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm good for that. Let me pull up the track.
I'll give Dominic just a bit of, I guess, validation, and I'll say, you know what, I really did enjoy Pluto as well. I won't really give a least favorite, because I don't think I actually have a least favorite from any track this week, to be honest.
I came into this week loving Hunter. I think I'm more into Pluto and Bachelorette now. I also really like Alarm Call, especially when she starts doing the beep beep as well, because it's really fun. Again, kind of that like lighter, a little more poppier song that somehow still really weaves well into Pluto at the end. My least favorite is probably All Is Full of Love, which is probably controversial, but that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Favorites for me are probably Bachelorette, and also give it to Pluto. No real least favorites. Solid album.
Well, Dominic, I usually say this when we're just ripped on an album, but I guess it's not that kind of week. So, Dominic, what do we want to go for next?
Should we go to lobsterfight?
That's if you want to.
My coat hanger is a necklace. Came out December 31st of last year, so definitely a December album.
Yep.
And one that we were in danger of just kind of overlooking, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure we got it.
All right. So there's, I guess, one thing I just have to say about this album.
Yeah.
Can he please just have more confidence in the sound that they've done, because it's good, but the mixing on this, it just stops it from getting to that next step.
It's still mixed like a fifth wave album of like earlier in the underground.
But it's mixed worse than Sun Soaking.
Yeah.
I did not do a comparison. Is that true?
I've listened to Sun Soaking enough in my life to know that yes, this sounds a lot lower and a lot more, I guess, combined than Sun Soaking does, which in a sense makes this an album for audiophiles, because when you do properly pay attention to this album, you are noticing everything that they're doing, and it's really I really appreciate what's going on.
Yeah.
But if the mixing was better on this, that's the main gripe I have. That's what's needed to truly kind of let this album actually shine. They are talented songwriters. I know their voice is not like the most accessible voice of all time as well, but it fits so well with how everything's going.
Yeah.
They are a great band. I don't know why it's mixed this way. The only thing I can have is like they just didn't have the confidence to think that this is an album going to fall that way. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a creative choice.
I think the way it's mixed allows some of the songs to kind of get lost in the sauce, and it all probably runs together more than it should. But you listen to songs like Sleeper's Disease, or my favorite, which is Ralph's Damp Spots to Hell. Like, there's a really nice warmth and like a really interesting kind of take on like older genres and older versions of like a really band-centric rock feel.
Yeah. Even the last track, which does the interpolation of Can I Kick It?
Yeah. And which is also really nice because this is also, like the previous one, made up of a bunch of guest musicians coming in as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it kind of feels so tight and feels so put together really works in its favor. But when you're struggling to really hear everything and really, you have to really, really pay attention sometimes, it works against it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There were so many good concepts on this album.
Like it's I think of Elizabeth Whittington, right? When we covered a lot of that.
Yeah.
Was part of the thing was, okay, through the noise and the compression, what can you hear? What can you make out? And I think that worked for that because of where the production on that was and where the songwriting on that was in the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
This is much lighter and much a different project than that. So I don't think that process nearly works as well. Or I'm more able to okay it on that project and be more willing to do it there. Here it's much more of a like this is a barrier for entry.
Well, also I the way that I kind of compare this as well is I'll compare it to Elizabeth Whittington, and yeah, that is something that is in its case of how the music is supposed to be crafted, and as you said, yes, the subject matter is supposed to be a very much kind of depressive, harsh listen. In that sense, and the stylistic choices on this make sense. And Lobsterfight doesn't feel like, I guess, content warning. It doesn't feel like suicide music. Lobsterfight's never felt like that. No. Lobsterfight has, and apologies to the band, they have towed the line of theater kid music. But how I would actually describe them is not as theater kid music, but as those kids that decide to go into to drama class, have absolutely no idea what the fuck they're doing, refuse to learn anything, and just have fun regardless.
Yeah.
That is how I describe lobsterfight.
Yeah, lobster fight to me feels like your friend that is wearing flannel. It's fall, and they are watching Gravity Falls or something.
Yeah.
Now, in that sense, I don't think this would be as cleanly produced or mixed as Theatre Kid music does, nor does its edge that it has is what gives it that kind of whole, or its imperfections, I guess, is what gives it the whole, like, they are just doing this for fun, and that's what makes it so great, the vibe.
Mhm.
That's going on. But still in a musical way, the art still needs to shine in some way.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, again, when you can get past it and actually hear what the concepts of these songs are, they're great. Like, it's Sebastian, Tell Me About Your Knots and Ties has some really good flows and some moments in it that are like, when it kicks in, I can just imagine it with that kind of better mixing and hearing it in a live setting and just how I can imagine it going off.
Yeah, part of it is
Mhm.
that constantly in your head of like, well, it could sound like this if I, heard it live, which is a
Yeah.
weird kind of feeling to constantly have.
And the way that like songs would just flow into these moments, like "Hang Me Up Dry" is another one where it just feels also natural how everything goes in these songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just bought the album. I want to see if there are bonuses. Usually are. Not check.
Now, the other thing to also mention, there was actually quite a lot of sampling used on this album as well.
Yeah.
A lot of that seemed to be from cartoons as well. So the Gravity Falls one, I don't think they used Gravity Falls, but
No.
the kind of statement that you said isn't too wrong because of that. I know there's a lot of Simpsons ones on here.
A lot of Charlie Brown.
Oh yes, as well. This actually opens up with the Charlie Brown sample, I believe, like the kick in the football.
Mhm.
I think it ends with it as well. There's also, I think, one somewhere in the middle with Linus and the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cartoon addicted emo. Wow.
A staple of the genre.
Basically, yeah.
Which, kind of a expected thing, but I think works here pretty well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it like elevates it or anything like that, but it certainly doesn't stop the flow.
Yeah.
In a sense, it is sampling for the sake of sampling, but I don't know. It feels a bit excusable with what this album is.
It does. I think it does give it a little bit of a, I don't know, like a grounding element, like an anchor point of some sort. So I think it kind of works, but I don't know like what the point is. Sense.
Yeah.
All right, I have put the album up, and there are 2 extra songs.
How long do they go for? Is there something comparable to the 20-minute I walked to the store and back?
No, each are like a minute and a half. Biblically accurate Panic Attack and Bethlehem (parentheses Bart Simpson's Nightmare).
Incredible.
Great.
So
I think my disappointment with this album is that somehow it's ended up as probably my least favorite this week, which is also a showing of how strong this week is, because I still come out of this album liking it a lot. It just its flaws just kind of leave me disappointed.
had you listened to this at all before? Like, I'm curious why you never picked it.
Yeah, I listened to it when it came out,
And that it kind of pushed you away from it.
I ended up liking enough of the songs that I was like, okay, well, this will kind of be in my playlist, but it just didn't feel, I guess, important enough this year to pick with everything else. How do I put this? Like, Sun Soaking was a really like incredible effort from them, which had the classic track, sorry, the theme for this evening Swarm Dinner Salad, which is that kind of song which people would either really like or most definitely really hate, because it is an abrasive song in the sense of, there are very glaring imperfections but it's so out in the open and it's so earnest of a track that I just couldn't help myself but kind of smile with just how fun it felt. Whilst with this one, whilst it doesn't have that same kind of power just because of the mixing. The mixing is my main gripe with this album, and it just felt tiring to try and listen to it at times.
Yeah,
Which is why I guess I didn't pick it.
I don't want to say that it's like the one to skip, but it definitely is one that needs, I think, would benefit from being remixed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trix, I would believe this is not good dinner music.
No, no one would agree to listen to this. And
well, they're cowards, in my opinion. Though.
They are, but I didn't listen much to this one. It just I should have gotten more enjoyment out of it. I did enjoy what I listened to, but nothing stuck with me. The few times I listened to it.
Yeah, I think
I agree with nothing sticking because I think there is still concept. Obviously, if it hasn't started with you, then yeah, I can't disagree with that. But in the sense of me, I think there are concepts on here that are catchy enough, and I do think their songwriting is still quite interesting.
Yes.
What the hell are you doing, Monty? He's just jumping 4 feet straight in the air.
Favorites for me, Hang Me Up Dry, Sebastiana, Tell Me About Your Knots and Ties, and The Closer Even After All You're Here. Least favorite is probably something like Even When the Trees Fall, or no, it's probably just be Even When the Trees Fall.
I quite like Sleeper's Disease and Ralph Stamp Spots the Hell Long. I don't know what my least favorite would be. It's hard to tell, really, because like there are warm spots, but then a lot of it again is just kind of like lost in the really actively trying to
lost in the sauce.
Something.
Yeah,
it's a well blended sauce when it didn't need to be.
Yeah. I'll give a shout out to VeggieTales Superstar. I enjoyed that track.
Hell yeah.
Cheese sandwich for the rest, kind of.
Oh, that's okay. I think it was so important to cover this because it remains a unique, interesting element in the scene.
And I agree. I don't think this is an album in which I would refuse to listen to again or anything like that. It's more so, I guess my main reason for picking it was there's just so much else to pick.
Yeah.
It just didn't have the power to beat those. But I guess we'll pick something that I've picked this week. So Trix, which one of my 2 picks do you want to start off with first?
I want to talk about Hockey Dad.
All right, Hockey Dad, The Clip, their first studio EP since their debut EP back in like 2014 or some shit like that. So
yes,
it's been a while. Actually, a pretty fast release on this. Old Hat No Cattle was only released a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're basically, hey, we got an EP out, and this definitely sounds like something that wasn't going to go under that normal kind of PR structure of releasing stuff, because whilst this obviously isn't some kind of avant-garde masterpiece like the other 2 albums are trying to be, this definitely doesn't feel like they're caring about it being commercially successful.
No.
But I really, really do love Zach Stevenson's vocals more and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hockey Dad showing up is like a nice warm blanket.
It's a really solid EP.
Yeah.
I saw somebody say before they listened to this that it sucked, and I said that all slander will be banned from the chat. And then I've listened to it, and now all I can think of is, how the fuck did you think this sucked?
Yeah, this is a phenomenal little EP from Hockey Dad.
One thing I went unaccused of is being all hat, no cattle.
Mm.
That is one of my favorite sayings. I'm not even gonna lie. It's such a ridiculous one.
Yes.
I guess the beauty of this EP is I got to listen to a couple of the songs live before it was released because they played a mini festival at Liberty Hall. They played the late night set, which was only like 30 minutes to 40-minute set that they were getting. So they kind of just decided, hey, we'll just use this as a time to kind of like promote the new EP coming out, which is fair. I don't think this was like Triple J sponsored or anything like that. So most of the crowd that was there were people who kind of like Hockey Dad outside of the kind of the big Triple J core songs. And my favorite part of that whole set was there was a band playing beforehand called Bimbo, and one of the members had like a classic cowboy hat, and he was just asking before playing All Hat No Cattle if he could manage to get that hat for the song.
That's great.
But no, like Barn Boiler is a fucking solid ass opening track.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the kind of
greatly.
I love the kind of gazy guitar that's going on with it as well. It just gives it a just nice little edge that's going onto it. Yeah. All Hat No Cattle. Good old Billy's just screaming out "Ride 'em, cowboy." Ride 'em, cowboy.
This is really becoming the band when I talk about my podcast with people, and they're like, "Oh, so do you know like bands that you'd recommend to people like, that I haven't heard of?"
Yeah.
Like, that's probably Hockey Dad. Yeah, like one that I think will go over well in pretty much any context.
Yeah,
it's probably the band that out of all the bands that I've listened to, there isn't much bands that I've been listening to for 10 years now. Hockey Dad is one of them. Because, I would have started listening to them about 2015.
When the show turns 10 years old, you're going to have to revise that statement.
Yeah. They are a band that feels like they are changing their sound without giving up their sound on release to release. And they've still consistently been good with it.
Yeah.
It's really clean, just slow, like building, just every time. Like, not only do I remember, I really like this band, but this one's like doing a little bit more. It's a little bit better. It's a little more interesting. I still remember when during COVID I was watching fucking Brain Candy, the show, like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, when they did that live thing, because something happened. I think they were supposed to play the drive-in gig that night or something like that, and it got cancelled due to it being bogged down or something. I might even have those details wrong for like the timing, but I know like the first one was like the first attempt at doing the drive-in one had to be delayed a week because of that. And we were watching that. I was watching that on the couch with my brother, the live stream, which they had all these like little clips and stuff that they were doing to make it seem like a whole journalistic interview was happening of trying to uncover the zombie apocalypse kind of deal. They had a whole thing going on with that album, which I didn't really care too much for the story. I more just cared for the actual songs. And the main memory I can always have is that after they finished the album, they just randomly played a cover of "Cut Your Hair."
And the Live at the Drive-In after that ended up being a really solid live album that I quite liked.
Yeah.
Rebuild Repeat
with the car honks.
Yes, love the car honks.
Me.
And Rebuild Repeat had some really fucking great songs like Wreck and Ruin.
Yep.
And that felt like a definite evolution on the album side of like, okay, we're going more emotional, we're going more like deep with it. And here we are with this new thing this year that feels a little more fun and just kind of fuck it, let's go. That's totally cool too.
Yeah.
This definitely is becoming a band I want to do everything from.
And we basically have done everything from them. What have we missed? I think we've missed their first album and their first EP.
Yeah.
Yep. Baronia and Dreamin'. That's it.
Which I do plan to do Dreamin' at some point. Dreamin' is a very fucking solid EP from what was basically high schoolers.
We've even covered Early Days.
We did. And the Jeff and the Spicolis.
Yes.
So we've almost fully covered them.
We have.
There's just a little more context to get under our belt.
And next week.
Dominic, Dominic, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this trivia before as well. Do you remember who produces the first Hockey Dad EP?
Thomas Yancek?
Yes, from what band?
Oh god.
Big Scary.
I was gonna say Drones. I knew that was wrong, but yes.
And like every time that we've covered Big Scary, there's always been like an interesting project that we've done as well. So it just keeps going. It's all in a circle. Life is just one continuous cycle, and you can never get off.
Big Scary, another one that we're almost done covering.
Yes.
I mean, personally, with this EP, I do think like it is probably a bit more front-loaded in terms of like songs that I'm going to go back to, but the back end is still just a nice listen at its worst. There's no least favorite off this EP for me because it's just a solid listen, start to finish, and I'm sure as I go into this will probably be one of my favorite EPs of the fucking year. So
smooth like butter, criminal undercover.
Hell yes.
I like Hockey Dad. Hockey Dad's a good band. I like when good people make a good band.
Yeah.
So random fact is that you can see Billy at random hardcore shows in Wollongong if you go to any of them.
That's pretty cool.
You make more friends?
Nah, I've just seen him around.
I feel like you could get there.
Yeah.
I don't know. At this point, I feel like I would get close to the Björk stalker of how much Hockey Dad I've loved over the years.
Well, I would hope not. I don't want you bowing out of the show because you sent a fucking bomb somewhere.
Not that close, just closer than I should be, which is stalking at any point.
I mean, it didn't get that way with me and Lorenzo, so who knows?
Didn't get that way.
There's still time. Actually, I would have thought it would have been Dominic and Lorenzo would have been the stalking incident.
Well, I have been following Petite League for almost a decade at this point, so
let us not remember or let us not forget the time that I was making a early years Petite League playlist, and he must have seen me be like doing this on YouTube or something, and he's like, "Here, I'll send you this as well." And it was like the thing from like his middle school days.
That's right. I forgot.
That's right. It wasn't Dominic stalking Lorenzo. It was Lorenzo stalking Dominic. Of course. Anyway, favorites off this are the opening two tracks. Barn Boiler into All Hat No Cattle is just an all-timer for Hockey Dad discography.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This is a good like cheese sandwich. Like this is a gourmet offering. This isn't your like Starbucks cheese sandwich. This is like I went to a restaurant and ordered a cheese sandwich with the fixins. The good cheese.
Gruyere and aged cheddar.
Some like some nice lettuce in there, some like
lettuce and a grilled cheese, my dude.
Yeah, when it's like made good enough, I'll take it.
Soggy lettuce.
Well, it would not be that soggy. It would still be crunchy. It would be more of a sandwich.
So this is less of a grilled cheese, is what I'm hearing, and more of like a broiled cheese that's like put together.
I guess, yeah.
Because like the way I'm thinking, like the way that to keep the lettuce crispy would be like you broil the cheese and then put it together before slapping the sandwich together and sending it on its way.
If that's the way that it has to happen, then I guess that's it.
Okay.
Well, now that we've discovered cheese sandwiches and stuff, shall we get into the next one?
Sure.
So, Dominic, you asked me a question earlier of why didn't I pick Lobsterfight this year? So I'm now going to reverse that question back onto you. Why did you not pick Blight Corrosion?
Because I figured you would.
Well, I was busy.
It was on my list, actually. Like we were.
It was on my list. It was in all of our lists, and we just didn't pick it. I looked at everything that was coming out this year, and I said, "Fuck it! If we don't pick it now, we're not gonna pick it."
No, it was definitely gonna be on my list.
It wasn't on my list.
Like there are still other albums that we need to cover this year that are on my list.
Yeah.
Like we have not touched for how long yet.
Anyway, we talk about stalking. And do you remember that time that I stalked James's Facebook to to scare him during that interview, because that is probably still an all-timer for me.
I don't think you scared.
Yeah.
I think it just prepared you.
Scared is obviously an exaggeration for the sense of this joke. Dominic, please let me have this.
Oh, you scared him so bad. Oh,
Yeah. Blind Equation. They finally put the new album out that they were mentioning in the interview.
the one
So
that I have the shirt for that I bought a year ago.
yeah, it's finally out. So now we're finally about fucking 3 months, nearly after it's come out. By the time this episode's out, at least, talking about it.
Yeah.
Alright, so remember how I said this is a good week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is their best. This is their best work. This is great.
Ooh, I don't know.
Nah, I love this more than Death Awaits.
I had such a good relationship with Death Awaits. This feels like one that I need to spend more time with. Death Awaits got me by the throat immediately, like threw me down. It was like
I'm going to compare this to Lobsterfight quite a bit because it's just those little differences, which is why I love this a lot more. And this has those parts where the mixing goes low and everything, but there are just moments where everything gets clear and just leads to that satisfying payout that doesn't happen on Lobsterfight, which is why it's great. Like, and nothing with that breakdown at the end of it.
sure, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Sorry.
I do not think there are any moments like you betray the ones you love, and that for me is gonna take some time to kind of like get over, because I guess I associate this band now with like that intense emotional release, and this one is so far not doing it for me in the same way. So it requires kind of like a readjustment of mindset and kind of like study
Mm-hmm.
to see what else it's doing.
In a sense, like, You Betrayed the Ones You Love is like still going to be one of the peak Blind Equation songs. Same with Never Getting Better off that album.
Yeah.
But I think this is a case of when we talk about as a full album listening to start to finish, I think this is one of those ones that's just full of a lot of those moments that just lead to all these satisfying payoffs, like a funeral going into that interlude track and then paying off in Purgatory.
Oh yeah,
is such a great moment off this album
very
that
good.
just doesn't happen on Death Awaits.
Yeah, this is more of a cohesive album. Death Awaits was a little more all over the place.
Or I guess probably the longest Cyberguy track that ever exists in Incomplete. Don't search it up if that's true or not. I'm sure there's somebody who's put up like a 20-minute Cyberguy track. But the way that these songs can just go through different different phases and lead to these moments makes it such a good listen start to finish. I think James's vocals as well, being I'm comparing this to like the first time I listened to Blind Equation, which would have been like 2021 when someone said listen to this, and I just didn't get it, and that would have been like listening to the Born to Die EP.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And just what this band has now become, and hearing all that kind of cohesiveness and clearness in it, whilst not losing the kind of sound that they're getting on, makes it just a really impressive listen. Especially for what is only a 30-minute listen. This is probably the shortest album that we've covered this week.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure Ween's like 50 minutes. I'm pretty sure the others are like 40 minutes. Maybe Ween's shorter than 50?
Yeah. I think Ween's about 55.
Let me search that up real quickly on my own computer. It is 55.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Trix has won the Price is Right.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Do I get to play Plinko?
Yep.
You get to be
Yay.
Drew Carey in person.
Trix, what did you think? What did you think about Purgatory?
This is a very lovely produced album, but God, is the style of metal just not for me.
I feel like this has to either be like the most kitchen music or the least kitchen music this week, and there's no in between.
It's kind of both.
That's what I mean. Like, in some situations, I could see this absolutely being what you need for the kitchen. In other moments, I can just see you being told to leave the kitchen and never come back.
Well, like Doom actually works a lot better in the kitchen than like any sort of like deathcore or along adjacent genres of
Yeah,
metal.
yeah.
Because
Well,
it's a
Doom's
consistent
closer to stoner.
groove and rhythm.
I was gonna say it's closer to stoner, which it's like it's hotspot. You're all fucked on something.
Trix, I have a dare
Yeah.
for you.
Yes.
The next time you have a long day, even longer than today, you need to put on Sabazius.
I don't know if my coworkers would let me.
To just have the whole shift be the Senta fan.
Oh, I don't know.
Going back onto the album here as well. Like, I guess the kind of comparison that Cybergrinds had, James has talked about it in a previous interview as well, and just going into it, is Nintendo Core, which is a thing that existed a while back. There are people that I know that apparently were there for that time, and I still don't really know what it is, but like this album has all those moments, like the opening riff into Flashback, which sounds so much like it's taken from a video game.
Nintendo Core was very much I had a friend of mine who still makes music that was very heavy in that scene when we were in high school. It was kind of like taking like Game Boys and like things like that and getting like all this weird music software that can run on it and using those in like DJ sets and things like that to make music that fit those like sound profiles that sounded like Nintendo music but was also still giving an effect for EDM or whatever you were doing. So that's always been my perspective of like what Nintendo Core was like using those song style, like those like sound fonts to kind of augment what your larger set style was.
But my point goes in. Yeah, I'll let you go, Trix, because else you'll forget.
Along that lines, I am still actively searching for some sort of pedal that makes my bass sound like a Sega Genesis bass.
Ooh,
that would go hard. But what I was trying to say is that the sounds that they kind of use when I'm talking about like it sounds like video game music is it sounds like it's using a sound font when it isn't. It's creating something that sounds like something else, or it sounds like something that you'd think it exists, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's I'll compare it to that fucking Kiss album, or whatever it was, where it didn't sound like an actual film that existed. It existed. I couldn't get into my head the idea of, oh yeah, I can see what this is soundtracking. Whilst with this album, like on Flashback, I can see like a kind of like Castlevania type game happening on whilst those kind of things are happening, and then the actual kind of, I guess, grindcore or hardcore, whatever we want to fucking call it, part of cybergrind, it comes in as well and makes it its own thing. It's also not like this is too crazy of an evolution of their sound from Death Awaits, but I think it is just pretty well refined.
Yeah, like I said, definitely one I need to spend more time with. But also, I like what I like most is that idea you were just talking about of like it's not sampling. They're not taking pre-existing melodies and like Nintendo Sound Fountain and using them. They are making them, and the use of that in otherwise like metal song structures or other genre song structures is, I think, in a field that's still relatively unmined. Still a lot of potential with stuff like that. No, I am always very interested, and I applaud the use of like different sound hardware to make like electronic blips and bloops that you can't just make on, you probably can make it on a synth, but it forces you to kind of use certain sounds and certain like things that you otherwise would not be forced to. And I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like using the Sega Genesis, bass line again, we were just talking about. Like, if you spend a lot of time with that, that would produce a lot of really interesting sounds, and then if you reinterpret that and use that back with, like, outside of what video games be, use it with guitars and use it with, everything else. So much there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for me a well paid off release. I still do want to see James put out some of the more kind of standard metal projects that I can't remember the fucking titles of but like that black metal one that he was working on that was actually pretty good. But you can obviously see where there's kind of elements from those sounds come into this album as well. And it all just feels like a good combination of just the talents on that. Yeah, very happy with this. Favorites for me, Nothing is a hell of a song. That whole stretch of A Funeral into In Purgatory and Incomplete are probably my favorites. I don't really have a least favorite. I guess if I had to give it to one, it might be like Mourn.
Yeah, I like Mourn. I like A Funeral all the way into In Purgatory. I really couldn't give a least favorite here. I liked it all about equally. Like I said, this is probably still going to rank lower for me just because I need to kind of reorient what my expectations were. I need to spend more time with it.
This is a cheese sandwich for me, but like with the cheese, I'm not a fan of. Like it's a good looking Limburger and liver grilled
I'll
cheese sandwich.
Trix, I'll say it in a way that my partner would say it. It's a cheese sandwich using American cheese.
Oh no, fuck you. You got to have that sodium citrate from the American
I
cheese to encourage meltiness.
No, I agree with that for the texture of the cheese, but for the taste of the cheese, it's a no.
That's you have to use more than just American.
I know, but you could also just like how you see all those YouTubers and go like, here's how to do that cheese, and mix it your own way without the American cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I will prefer to learn that way.
It's just adding sodium citrate, the
Yeah.
chemical inside of American cheese.
Well,
You could probably figure it out in an afternoon.
I could probably figure it out in 5 seconds. I just need to figure out where the fuck to buy sodium citrate.
Big Daddy Bezos.
Oh, sorry, I need to figure out where to buy it from somebody that I wouldn't throw up from giving my money.
imagine ordering your cheese off Amazon.
Oh, the sodium citrate. It's a fucking chemical powder.
Yeah. Now let's everyone point and laugh at Dominic for not knowing that.
Do you guys know what the abbreviation for sodium citrate is?
It would be Na something.
NaCHO.
That's
It makes
tasty.
nacho cheese.
Yeah, that's incredible. Anyway,
That's
we
why I
got
call it the God particle.
one more release to talk about this week, and well, we talk about waiting a while to cover something. This one's about 20-something years old at this point. Trix,
Yeah.
explain yourself.
I picked Ween's Quebec because I've been listening to it off and on for the past couple months, and I felt like I needed to earn your guys' respect back after the Dwyer Fest.
Well, this concludes the trilogy of what is considered the top 3 Ween albums. This is by basically the general consensus of Ween fans and I guess the general public when it comes to ranking, is that people usually either consider, I mean, it's usually the mollusk or chocolate and cheese that usually end up getting like the number 1 spot. But Quebec is usually either there as number 2 in between them, or a couple times it's been at Smoky for number 1.
Yeah.
That is just how the conversations usually go. So
I was in the car today with a friend playing this. He's a Ween fan, and he was extolling the virtues of 12 Golden Country Greats as well.
Yes. And also, I learned recently that the guitar solo on Transdermal Celebration was like recorded on Carlos Santana's rig and guitar without his consent,
Yeah, they broke in.
Yeah,
which is fucking metal as hell.
it's so funny.
Also,
And oh, you go first.
because the name keeps popping up, the drummer on this album, because their drummer was in a car accident, Trix, Josh Freese is back.
Yes.
He has worked with so many people, from the Foo Fighters to Green Day to everyone.
Yes.
There's a meme that went around a couple of years ago that I always think of when it comes to this album, because I think it's really fucking suitable. It's the first track of an album and the rest of the album, and that first one is Luigi being on the DJ set having a blast, and then the rest of the album is him crying in bed.
Sorry, it was
Yeah.
Jason Freese that's with Green Day. Josh Freese is just
Yes.
only got fired from Foo Fighters. Hard to keep
That's
that straight
right.
sometimes.
Too many freezes.
Anyway, that's how I've always thought of this album and how I would describe it, because it's gonna be a long night. It's one of those songs that kind of, for any other artist but Ween, you would say this fails as an opener because it does not establish the album at all. But for Ween,
It doesn't, but it's good.
Ween doesn't ever establish their albums because they just go all over the place anyway.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
It's
it
also-
being weird. That's the thing.
It's also the Tony Hawk song from that Ween had.
It is. Thug 2.
Yep,
And it works. It's perfect for that.
it's such a good song. Ding, 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 ding.
It's a Motorhead pastiche,
Yeah.
basically.
Basically, yeah.
Then they get.
It's doing Motorhead almost exactly like Motorhead, with maybe less homoeroticism.
They have their arena
And-
rock song with Transdermal Celebration.
I was gonna say, like, Transdermal Celebration is probably the best arena rock song of all time.
Yes.
It is, for me, like a top 5 Ween song.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tried and True is phenomenal as well.
I love Happy Colored Marbles and Hey There Fancy Pants. That's a really good, like, cartoony, like left field after left field curveballs.
I'd love to see Dean Ween do a kids album.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about curveballs there, and you know, Ween's always been the band that it's never stuck to a certain genre. They've always thrown as curveball after curveball after curveball after curveball. You know, albums have a certain sound that you can kind of like describe it with, but ultimately you wouldn't ever call an album to stick to one genre. You know, like
No.
the Mollusk obviously has some kind of like ocean theming onto it, but to call it a folk album or a psychedelic album would be wrong.
Right.
There's moments where it's a fucking sea shanty. There's a moment where it's a prog rock album.
Yeah.
It's a Ween album. That's the best way to describe it.
yeah.
It's a Ween album.
That's how it is. And Quebec is one of those albums where the biggest curveball that it throws, because you just have to remember that everything aside, when Ween decides to make a really like serious emotional song, it fucks as well.
Yeah.
Like the closing track, if you could save yourself, you'd save us all, which is basically just this whole kind of coming to terms with a divorce of that Gene Ween was going through at the time.
Another really good song, really track on the album.
Yeah.
It's a great closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, when I think of love songs or breakup songs, of what makes one a good one. I know, Trix, you are under the belief that a good love song is something that's I guess genderless in a sense.
Gender agnostic is the term I use.
Yeah. Which, in a sense, yeah, it's a fair thing. But I always believe what makes a truly good song out of all those is one that can't be covered, because it's personal and it's actually true, and that's what it feels like with this song at the end, with If You Could Save Yourself.
Yeah, that's something that needs a certain amount of emotion that's hard to just capture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this comes like only songs after the Fuck Jam, which is basically just a instrumental track at some points that just keeps going in and out for the sake of it.
Yeah. It's
It's
a
Ween, bitch.
phenomenal album. It's Ween.
Yeah. Yeah, they, they generally were just probably one of the most interesting bands.
Yeah.
I guess, kind of blew up as we were saying for that whole weirdness thing that came out from the '90s. They definitely got to ride that wave a bit. I mean, they broke out in '93 with Push the Little Daisies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then since then have just been. They didn't go and look to make something incredibly mainstream. They just looked to keep making Ween songs.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I don't. I personally probably prefer Chocolate and Cheese and the Mollusk to Quebec. That's probably a hot take to some people, but other people agree. And that's the fun of Ween, is that everybody gets to have their own favorite, and no one is actually wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
Nobody's
there's one that really is the true champion. Hello, Manny.
The Mollusk is whilst it's my favorite, it kind of gets the champion just for commercial success, but that's also mostly due to Ocean Man.
You guys know my personal favorite Ween album.
I thought this was it.
No, it's Shinola.
Shinola, that's right. Oh, Gabrielle.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's so much fucking Ween that we still haven't covered. We haven't covered Godween Satan, which is a 29-track, 76-minute debut
Live
that they put
album.
out.
Yeah.
No, it's not a live album.
There is a live
debut.
version of it.
There is a live version, yes, but
Yes.
the original one, and that has such a harsher production that goes onto it as well, and it really kind of embodies that whole concept of I guess Brown, La Cucaracha, their last album as well, which I think is usually considered by people to be one of their worst albums, unfortunately.
We did Pure Guava, I believe, or did we do? We did one of the early ones.
I don't know. I think we did the Pod, didn't we?
No, we did Pure Guava because it has Push the Little Daisies.
I don't think we did Pure Guava. I thought I only just showed you guys.
I don't think we did Pure Guava.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just showed you guys Push the Little Daisies.
Yeah, that's all you did.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Did we do 12 Golden Country Greats?
We did the Mollusk.
No, we didn't.
Well, that's probably the next one, mate. I just know it.
Yeah. My father, it had an acoustic duo for a while. And they'd even cover like Bananas and Blow.
Yeah, we haven't done either one, so definitely room to do.
And then there's all the fan albums out there as well. There's the Shinola Volume 2, which is a fan album.
Yep.
There's EPs. At least one.
To me, yeah, this album is still just a really great listen. It has some of the best Ween songs in their discography, specifically with like Transdermal Celebration, If You Could Save Yourself, and It's Gonna Be a Long Night. I think when it comes to listening as a full album, it does get a bit overblown for me, and it doesn't justify its runtime the same way as like Chocolate and Cheese or the Mollusk does.
Yeah.
But it's still like justifying its runtime for Ween. Like even when they fail to do it, they're still doing it a lot better than like 95% of artists are.
Even if they're not doing it at the moment, there's so much creativity and stuff going on that they're bound to get you back around.
Yeah.
They're praise booknish.
It's Ween, baby.
Yeah. I mean, Transdermal Celebration's probably the best track out of all the songs that we've listened to this week. That's just how I put how much I love that track.
I like that track.
Go ahead, Trix. Tried and True. I think I'd put Tried and True over Transdermal Celebration, honestly.
I think If You Could Save Yourself is also really, really strong.
It is.
Those two, and It's Gonna Be a Long Night, are definitely my favorites. I also have to just give a shout out because there's the second song in like the last few months that we've covered named Zoloft.
Give me that C. O-L-O-F-T.
L-F-T.
Because Carly Cosgrove had a Zoloft song.
Yep.
Quite different.
I already told my Zoloft story, so I'm not going to bother.
As far as least favorites, I don't know. Captain, maybe?
Yeah, I think I'd even agree with Captain or so many people in the neighborhood, but I think I'd give it to Captain because I think at least neighborhood's a bit more memorable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No real least favorite for me.
Well,
Fuck, ranking this is gonna be fun. Okay, well, I guess I gotta have to go and say lobster fight at the bottom as the absolute apologies for all that. I've got a total of 5 things, so let me remember that. On that, number 4, if we go towards everything and how I'm gonna rank it, number 4 is going to be Björk. Number 3 is going to be. This is where it gets tough. It's gonna be. I'm gonna put it as Hockey Dad as number 3, and then Blind Equation as number 2, but they're very interchangeable.
oh,
And if we go for what does have like, whilst it might not be like the most consistent effort out there, its highlights are just too strong to not be number 1, and does have to be Quebec.
Alright. I'll go next. I think I'm gonna have to put Blind Equation on the bottom. Then I think I'm gonna go Lobster Fight. Bjork, Hockey Dad, Ween.
I will do Blind Equation at the bottom, then Lobster Fight. I will do Ween, and then here's the question: Bjork or is it?
What does your heart say? Are you a pop princess or a cowboy today, Dominic?
Are you Bjorking off?
What my heart says is that Bjork's number 2, Hockey Dad's number 1.
Ride 'em, cowboy!
He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy.
Man, maybe I should pick Everyday Believer next week. That's got a song cowboy. That's just the chorus is just cowboy yeehaw. All right. Well,
Oh,
I think you two will know what I'm planning for next week. So if either of you want to steal it from me, go ahead and pick it now, you cowards.
I have
No.
plans.
Do it.
Well, I'm saying you two get to choose the albums first, and then I'll say what I'm picking.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta put my phone.
I
There it is.
will use this opportunity to apologize because I'm going to pick something that I know will be not the most popular pick, but we spent the last couple years getting to this point, god damn it. When Radiohead puts out a new album, live or not, we're going to cover it.
Fuck.
Ugh.
It's Hail to
Make it
Me,
stop.
live recordings, 2003, 2009.
Bless you.
I was really trying to hold that one in, did not work. Yeah.
Nope.
Radiohead,
No, it did not.
Hail to the Thief, live recordings 2003, 2009. Now, to apologize for that, I'm also going to finally pick the album Mirrored by Battles.
Okay.
We'll have something to talk about.
Ooh.
All right.
We haven't actually covered battles before.
We have not.
Oh.
No.
I last was going to pick them in like 2023, so here we are.
Do I own that battles album? Let's see. Yes, I do. All right, let's go.
Do you want me to go next, Ritz?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to return to my concept of exploring the world. I have today a big old grip of EPs and singles, and maybe 1 or 2 albums, but they're from every continent in the world.
Oh, goodness.
So, Ritz, do you remember the country you wanted me to cover next time I brought this out?
Of course not.
It was Tuvalu.
Ah, yeah, it's one of those Islander ones.
And so I found an electronic producer by the name of Bing, and we're covering his single Azil Nazine. I am probably not saying that right.
Adele Nazim,
Oh.
isn't that isn't that what John Travolta called Idina Menzel?
Yes, but I don't think it's quite that. And then I figured, okay, let's go to Asia, and I'm like, let's see what's going on in Mongolia, and I found metalcore band from Mongolia called Chappell, and we're covering. I believe it's an album, but it's only like 20 minutes long. Their album Japa. I'm probably butchering this. Don't worry, I'll have links for everything. But that is Chappell Japa. And then going to Europe, I'm like, what's the weirdest country I could cover in Europe? And my brain went Liechtenstein.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And so I found Wavy Boy, and we're gonna cover his album All Die Engel and Domino sind wir selbst. It's only 20 minutes long. Again,
Okay.
little short guy. And then I went to Africa to continue looking along, and I found this Ghanaian band called Super Jazz Club, and we're gonna be covering their latest release called Monochrome Radio, and it's a deluxe edition. Again, only like 20 minutes. And then here's where it got kind of weird. I had to do quite a bit of searching to find some South American that wasn't like Brazil or like Argentina, some of the smaller ones, but I found a punk band from Suriname called Mother Flack, and the EP is called Bastard Son.
Okay.
And then I figured, hey, we got to end in Europe. Let's go back to Europe. There's I've been learning a specific language, and so I figured it's time to cover an artist from the Netherlands. And I figured, what better Dutch artist can we cover than the Venga Boys? And we're going to be covering their Mega Mix, the short maxi edit.
Okay.
I want to point out that when I went to Brisbane last year, there was a Venga bus driving around. The Venga Boys weren't in Australia or anything like that. There was just a Venga bus driving around.
Hell yes.
All right. Well, with that, it's my pick. Dominic, what am I picking?
Picking DJ set by Masatui.
Yeah, of course I fucking am. Waited 6 years for this release.
Hell yeah.
What else? What else was I gonna pick?
Could have picked
What else was I going to pick?
Your nose.
John Legend.
No, Trix, I wasn't gonna pick my nose because I already picked it.
I'm gonna have to find a band called Your Nose now.
That probably exists.
I'm Googling it right now.
You can find that. I'm more convinced than ever that my old idea of can you find enough bands to build a car is possible.
Steering wheel.
Exactly.
Tie bar. When you search Your Nose on YouTube Music, the bands that come up are Bury Your Face in My Neck, Nose, and All, and Tyler Childers.
I was gonna say, surely there has to be a band called Alice Through the Windshield Glass, and there is. Let's go. It's a Simpsons reference for people who don't remember.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that your only pick, Ritz?
Yep.
Alright. So that's Masatui's DJ set. Battles, Mirrored, Radiohead's Hail to the Thief, live recordings, 2003 to 2009. And Trix, it's Bings, Azil Dazin, Chipangs, Chapa, Wavy Boy, All the Engel, and Demonin sind wir selbst. Super Jazz Club, Monochrome Radio Deluxe, Mother Flag, Bastard Son, Venga Boys, and Mega Mix, Short Maxi Edit.
And we will answer the question of boom, 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 or we like to party.
With that, that's going to call it for this episode of Dissonant Waves. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Come back for episode 208. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Enjoy your roll.